Thank you for checking in and taking a look at this video. I'm going to go through how to jet for success. My name is Mark Brandimarte, and I coach at Romeo High School in Romeo, Michigan. I'd like to thank Nicholas Bandstra for having me on to share some info with you. A little bit about our program. Romeo is north of Detroit, about 40 minutes, and we're in Division I, so we're in the largest division in the state. And this graphic here kind of shows some of our recognition over the past, at least the past decade, last 15 years. And we've had some great success on the field, but we really pride ourselves for what we can do for our athletes and for our community. And part of that is the community service, the hours per year that our athletes get in, and the money that they've raised for cancer awareness. We do a watchdog game each year, and that raises money for cancer research. And we really pride ourselves on creating servant leaders. Our head coach is Kurt Reines, and he does a great job of building up young men. And we try to live by that type of character development for our athletes. Another big part of our culture of our team is our motto, effort and attitude. And in everything that we do, we try to provide a great amount of effort and attitude in our coaching. And then that starts to go on to the field. And hopefully some of the clips that I show you will give a great example of that. About myself, I've been coaching for 19 years. And I started at the 7th grade level, worked my way up into 8th grade. I went to the JV, assistant coach, and then a head coach at the JV level. I've been an offensive and defensive coordinator at the varsity level. I've been a head coach at the varsity level for a couple years at Armada High School. And the last 5 years, I've been at Romeo High School, and I'm now the offensive coordinator there. Along these years, most of my background has been in the wing T or some version of that. We ran some double tight, double wing, some straight T, things like that. But what I'm going to talk about today is the jet sweep, and most of that is based out of the wing T and Delaware system. Why the wings? Why the wing T jet sweep? And for us, it stretches the defense horizontally. We really want to get athletes running. We want to get those linebackers moving side to side instead of coming downhill. And we want to get those safeties rotating and having some different fits than they're used to, and get them to tackle in space. And so we really like to move the defense horizontally, which leads us to the next part, which is when we get that horizontal movement, it starts to weaken the defense on the inside. And that's our goal. Our goal is to run the ball between the tackles. And as much as we can get people moving side to side, it's going to make it easier for us to run the rest of our game plan, which is inside the tackles. The next part is the why players love it, right? So they've been running this for quite a few years now, and so they come up through our middle school, they come up through freshman JV ball, and it becomes one of their big plays. So they start to love it, and it starts to be the play that we hang our hat on. And I also put with that number there that it becomes part of the culture, that effort and attitude, and how they bring everything that they have. That starts to make the scheme that much better. The effort that our athletes put into playing football makes our scheme better. Okay, and we don't have some of the biggest, strongest kids necessarily in our league, the fastest kids, but their effort and attitude there is, and their heart is what sets them apart and makes these schemes that much better. This play does have big play potential, and you'll see some of the clips that I'll show will be some big plays for us, some long runs. But we really coach our jet sweep in a way that it's a consistent play. It pounds out yards, and we're trying to avoid negative plays. We don't want to get caught in the backfield. So the way that we block it is a way that is going to be consistent and is going to continue to crack at a defense to the point where we're going to break a big play. And finally, it's all a part of a series approach. So we run our jet to set up the other plays in the jet series. So we do have counter, we have trap, we have the down play, the belly or ISO play, and we have passes off those. So they're all part of the jet series approach. The keys to success. So the main part of this presentation is going to be, I'm going to hit on these 7 keys and explain them a little bit more in detail. So if you're going to run this play, whether it's in a wing T style offense or in any offense, I think these things need to be considered. First, the number one key to success is the rules. Your athletes have to understand the rules of the play. And we have our athletes memorize them, and they have to understand what to do and what situations, and I'll go through the rules with you. Also the numbering. We have a numbering system that we use, and those players have to understand the numbering. Otherwise, you're going to have blocking mistakes. So the rules and numbering go together. We're going to go through that. Number 2 is the point of attack. The tackle, the tight end, these are players at the point of attack. And so time must be taken in practice to rep these positions and them understand the different blocks that they'll need to use. And so it's very crucial. This play has 2 crucial blocks on it, and that's the tackle or tight end and the wing. And if you can get those blocks to be solid, you're going to have consistent gains on your jet sweep. Timing and speed of the play has to be perfected. So we'll talk a little bit about the exchange, but this is also something that you can do pre-practice to make the play excellent. 4, the lead blockers must get off the ball and read. So your guard and your wing, and sometimes the fullback, when they're lead blockers, they have to be able to get off the ball. They've got to move, and they have to be able to read not only the defender, but also their other blockers that are with them on the play. And we'll talk about that a little bit. 5, formation for success. So we'll go into a little bit, and you'll get to see in the clips how we use some different formations to give us advantages. 6, the ball carrier must get vertical as soon as possible. And this is a part of the consistency of the play. If you want your jet to have consistent gains, there's going to be situations where you're not going to be able to break the big play, but you got to get back to the line of scrimmage, and you got to charge forward for those hard yards. And finally, 7, the backside of the play. We want to be able to split the defense. So the effort on the backside of the play from the center, back, and the fullback, the quarterback, and the receiver that might be on the backside of the play, they have to be able to fake well, and they have to be able to get to the next level for blocks as well. So we'll talk about how we split the D. Let's look at the rules. The rules for our jet sweep are pretty traditional here. The tight end is going to reach number 1, okay, if they're on the front side. And this play here is an example of a jet to the right. So he's reaching number 1. We'll go over the numbers in just a minute. Play side tackle is going to reach anybody on him. If there's nobody there, he's going to the second level. Play side guard is going to pull and log or kick. And exactly who they get will kind of be determined by formation and the defense. And we'll go into that a little bit with the numbering. Center is going to release or gut. So if there's a man on him, they can rip past him. They can also sometimes gut on the backside here, which looks like our belly play, our down play. And that involves the backside guard, which could be gutting around, or he will also release and rip to that next level to cut off second level defenders. And the backside tackle is going to rip and run as he releases as well. If the play is going to the opposite side, now the tight end's on the backside, so he's just going to have that release and cut off, okay? But the play side, whoever that play side man is at the point of attack has number 1, okay? The play side wing has number 2, and the rest of the rules are all exactly the same. For the backs, the X receiver is going to stalk. If the play is coming to him, he's going to cut off on the backside of the play. And there are some different perimeter schemes that we use, but the base play is taught with the stalk or the cutoff. The play side wing blocks number 2. The backside wing has to go in jet motion and receive the ball. We tell him to get his hands on the guard's hip and then try to run hash numbers sideline. Okay, there will be a point sometimes if the guard turns up early that he has to get inside the hash or inside the numbers, but then he's still going to try to bounce back out again. The quarterback is going to send the wing in motion and then snap the ball and try to give the ball after a 180 reverse pivot and give that ball basically at the near foot of the play side guard. Okay. After he gives that ball, he's taking 2 steps vertical into the backfield and then booting. And the fullback's going to run down the midline and provide a great fake. Okay. And we want him to brush skin, shoulder pad to shoulder pad, brush skin with the quarterback, and then bend to the play side, trying to block that backside inside linebacker. So let's look at the numbering. As the guys come up to the line, whoever's at the point of attack, and if we're going jet right here, this tight end is at the point of attack. He's going to call for number 1. In this case, in this defense, the 1 is right here, this defensive end. Number 2 is the first man outside of him, and we count counterclockwise here. So this player here who's outside backer is number 2, and then number 3 is up here, and then it goes around to 4 and 5. Okay, if they're running to the other side to the left, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so that's how we number counterclockwise. A 4-3 is very similar, but I put up here a 3-3 defense so that you can take a look at how it can change for the man at the point of attack. If that man at the point of attack has no one on him, he's got to get the first player in his body to the inside. So he has no one here on him. He can't reach that player. So he's going to call number 1, this stack backer. The wing then knows, okay, he's going to that backer. I have number 2, which is this defensive end or outside linebacker here that's up on the line. And number 3, then is this corner. Okay. And the guard would be alerted to this to know that, hey, I have this corner because 1 and 2 are now to the inside. So the line has to be communicating, and they have to come up to the line each time and make these calls, even when it's not a jet play. So let's look at the point of attack. The point of attack is crucial. And I got an image here that I'm going to move this out of the way a little bit so you can see. We're trying to rip and get our inside shoulder through the outside shoulder of that number 1. And this image kind of shows that our tackle is getting his head to the outside and trying to rip and run. We have body position here, so we're going to get this reach, okay? And the tackle and tight end need to rep this block quite a bit against a variety of shades. So an inside shade on a tight end or tackle is the easiest, right? We're easily going to get that edge unless the player is slanting to the outside. Head up, we're going to take a 6-inch step laterally and then start to rip and run through them. But the outside shade is the toughest to get. And so you really have to work that. And sometimes you even have to gain ground on that step as you rip and run. The split end also can be at the point of attack when they're cracking. So they got to rep being able to crack possibly a defensive end, a linebacker, or safety. And so we practice those different cracks. But if they're just stalking on a corner, they need to be able to hold that block, and that takes some attitude to do that. So they got to have that mentality and that attitude to go to the whistle, because they may be the difference often between a 5 to 7 yard play and a 25-yard play because they're blocking downfield. Next, the wing at the point of attack. So besides that tight end or tackle, the wing is the next man that his block is crucial. And he's going to have to rep a reach kick-out block, okay, of number 2. And we want to take a flat path that's 2 to 3 yards wider than the defender, and then reach, if we can, like the image shows right here. We're going to reach, get our head outside, and try to drive him, okay? And if he forces us to kick him out, if he's going to be that contained defender, we'll kick him out, and we'll use his momentum against him and try to drive him upfield to create a bigger lane, okay? And in this image, you can see he is getting the reach, but our guard is reading the wing's block. Okay, if he reaches him, guard can fit outside. If he has to kick him, guard has to go inside. And so the guard has to have a quick step to the sideline. Okay, and then we ask them to sprint to get out there. So they got to be able to haul. We'll put our fastest players at the guard position. They will have to bubble a little bit to get around the reach block. Okay, so we do have them take a little skater step and get into the backfield. And they have to be able to read that wings block. And you can set up a drill where they get out there to read that block. Is it kick out? Is it reach? And they have to be able to fit accordingly and then look for the next block. The fullback also has to do this same skill if they are leading. So sometimes we'll plus or minus the fullback, and they have to be able to read that wings block too because the wing is following them. Fullbacks can also double if needed. If we have a real tough player that we want to get a double on, we may bring that fullback to help get that double team. The timing. So to practice timing, we do a jet drill. And this is a pre-practice drill that we'll do that involve a quarterback and a wing and a guard. And they'll run jet to the right on air, or you can put defenders in there as your team gets it down. And they run down, and about 20 yards away from them, another group is running jet to the right, coming back. So it's a circular drill. And we're just getting that rhythmic cadence going. Or if you're just sending them in motion with your foot, or with your hand if you're in the gun and you want to bring them from further out. And you got to be able to snap that ball so that you can give that handoff right behind the play side guard, okay? If the timing is good, a 3 technique cannot make the play because we're not blocking that 3 technique. He won't be able to make that play if we get the timing correct on the handoff. And we've practiced this with some very fast defensive linemen, and they can't get there if we're able to execute that. If you give the ball too early, if you give it behind the center, they can catch that play, and then you'll have to block a 3 technique. We want to be able to pull and get out there away from that player and get to the point of attack. Formation for success. So we try to formation things in a couple different ways to get an advantage. So the first one is find the best side to attack. So we'll come up and we have a check with me, and we're going to run jet. We're just not sure which side we're going to run it to. And we do this with a lot of our plays. And so we'll come up there and we'll see what's the best side to attack. Okay. And that could be finding a weak player. That could just be finding a number advantage. So we'll take a look at it and we'll go with what works best. We also move our best player to the point of attack. So there'll be situations where if we have a great tight end, we're going to move him around so that he is a guy at the point of attack that's getting a great reach block. If we have a tackle that's really good, we're going to move him around. Certain wings, we would put in a blocking wing to do that. You can bring your fullback over. You can crack a good blocking X receiver. So you may need to move players around to get the looks that you need. We also want to create angles with tight alignments. So you can see in the image here, we're in a tight alignment, and this is one where we can crack with this player on a good defensive end, which is basically becomes a buck sweep type of play, or we can go to linebacker or safety. And so we can get some of those alignments that will help us against players that might be difficult to reach or to take head on. And finally, we like to overload a side, okay? A great way to run the jet is overload one side, and if they don't adjust to it, keep going to that side. If they adjust, you have to be able to go opposite. So you'll see quite a few formations where we have an overload and we're going to try to attack that side. And once they move people there, we have to try to go the other way. So be ready to run the play to either side, depending on how the defense aligns to you. The ball carrier. The ball carrier's job, number one, is to protect the football, get it in that outside hand. And they want to, on their release of motion, they want to aim 1 yard behind the quarterback. And then they're trying to get this handoff at full speed. They won't quite be up to full speed unless they're coming from a slot position. If they're coming from wing, they're probably going to be at about 70%, 60% right when they get to the quarterback. But they've got to be going full speed as soon as they have that ball. We want them running, and we want them getting out there quickly so that they're not caught by a 3 technique or anybody back behind that. They must read the block of the wing. And the guard. So they're really following the guard. And you can see in this relationship here, we like to keep them at arm's length. He uses the guard as a shield. If any guy is coming off that C gap or D gap, that guard's going to be the shield for him so that he can still get successful yards. And then if he sees that the wing has a reach, he can pass the guard at any time. If he sees that it's open on the outside, he's just going to go. And that does happen. You'll see a couple situations where the guard virtually blocks no one because the running back just passes them. And if they see that green, they can run. But we keep them in that tight proximity because a team sets the edge, you have to be able to turn inside. Finally, the backside of the play. What we're trying to do with the backside of the jet play is split the D, okay? And this takes some great fakes, but it also takes some influence sometime by your blockers. And you can do it a number of ways. We blocked waggle on the backside, where we'll block down with the tackle and log the guard. We've done boot keep, where we're faking the keep by the quarterback, or like a naked keep. We fake our gut play, which we're going to fold the guard and backside center, fold the center and backside guard through. And when you can do screens that from under center or from gun, and you can fake pass from either to RPO, especially if you're a gun team. So there's a lot of things you can do on the backside to make this play successful. I put an image up here, a still, where, as you can see, the play is going to the left, and this is the running back, and he's got a guard and a tackle out front of him. There's also a wing over there. Okay, everybody else is to the backside of the play, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players here, defenders, plus a 3 technique that just realized that it's jet, but he's really trailing here. He's got about 5 yards. Okay, so we got about 7 players, 6 or 7 players to the backside that we split the D. Okay, and that's what's going to make this have big play potential. So let's take a look at some game film. I want to put this up before we go to the game film, my contact. If you want me to send a presentation to you, or you want to shoot me a message, and if you have questions, I'm always willing to talk jet sweep and wing T football. Please let me know. Emails up here, mbrandimarte@armadaschools.org, and the Twitter is @CoachB_50. So get a hold of me. Always willing to talk football and share some knowledge. But I'm going to close this out, and let's take a look at some film here, and try to explain these 7 key areas that we need to execute to have success in the jet play. So this first one here is our base formation, our red formation. Okay, and in this formation, we're going to be running to the right. Okay, so I'm just going to play it right from here, and then the end zone view, we'll get a little bit better look at the play. So this is the first play of the game, and that's a great way to start. Great way to start the game. And so we came out here, and we're going to check the play, because we're not sure. You never know what defense you're going to get, but we're going to check the play. Okay, and sometimes we'll run a false motion like this, okay, to see if they're going to be rotating players or bumping backers, and just see if you get them jump off sides. But so we'll put some false motion in here. Now we've called the play. We know which direction we're going to go. So he's going to have 1. He's going to have 2. He has no one on him, so he's going to reach to the second level, okay? And you can see here, these guys are all checking the QB in that trap, and then we're off to the races, okay? So you can see we have a nice number advantage here. If we can get this reach and we get this, right, we're going to bring the guard with that, and we're going to be able to seal this backer to the inside. Only player that can make this tackle will be that safety, and we have a guard pulling for him. Okay. Same formation. This is going to be a situation where it was kind of game plan that the tackle is going to be the puller here. The guard does a great job of getting in his hip pocket and realizing that we're not getting the edge here. Okay, he's going to have to get a consistent gain. He's not going to get the edge. He's going to just get right through that little seam. Okay, so if you see here, we lose the reach. The tackle that's pulling through says, I have to get inside, and the back follows right behind him. And our wing was executing a kick out block, but actually loses that kick out as well. But it's still about a 7-yard gain. Here we go with an unbalanced formation. So we're going to go with an unbalanced formation here to the right. And we're actually offsetting the running back the opposite way. Okay, so if we're going to call our jet this way, we do get an extra guy to help us that way. Play ends up coming back to the right here, and we get really nice job with the reach. Okay, you'll be able to see a good view from the end zone. What you're going to see is this defensive end is going to really spike in, and our tackle is going to be able to overtake him, which allows the tight end, in this case, to get to that next level. Okay, and so that picks that up. Here's this that same formation again. This time it's put into the boundary. Okay, and we have that back offset weak again, and we noticed against this team that they were putting their extra defender to our strength side. So when they put that extra defender there, we check the play opposite. You're going to see that we're going to have an extra man going to the field, and we have a speedy wing here that if he gets in the green grass, he's going to be taken off here. Okay, because they have defensive end, which we're going to reach. We're going to be able to reach or kick this corner. Okay, and then we have a puller and our running back for the linebacker and safety. And you can see that's a lot of grass for those 4 defenders to try to cover. You'll be able to see it here. We make the check. We're going to go reach on one. He has the next man. We're pulling. And this is the offset fullback. He's going to be leading as well. See, wing notices, hey, I'm not going to be able to reach this guy, so I'm going to kick him. The running back and guard go right inside of that. They do a great job. Now, this safety has a huge lane to try to fill. And this was a big game for us. We needed this game to make it into the playoffs. Needed a win. Here, same formation, but we've tightened down the split. And in this case, we're noticing, hey, the defense is going to stay balanced against it. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to over-rotate anybody to this side like the last team did. So we're going to run it to that strong side. We got our tight end and our split end on the same side. We're just going to have an all reach. And we're still going to pull our guard. He follows right behind the guard and pierces through there. So you're going to see the tight end is going to be able to get reach at the second level. Our split end gets the reach of the outside backer. There goes our wing for their corner. And the boys are pretty excited. In that same game, when we would put the formation, our strength into Jetman, so they start to put, again, like the other team did, an extra player to the field. Okay, so we saw this, and now we see they have a safety, a corner, and a linebacker. So they got these 3 guys, and we have 4, okay, to go against them. So we just call that same jet now into the boundary, and they don't have enough guys to defend it. So I'll bring that one back. Teams will understand that you like to run the jet to the field, which it gives you more room. But if they're going to put somebody extra there, you have to be able to attack back to this side. And you can attack it with inside plays. In this case, they were giving us a 7 technique, which is a real easy block for our tight end. We kick out, we lead through. And you can even see our center getting downfield on a safety. We had a real athletic center there. So that's some great blocks, some great effort there. This next one is a tight formation. So we bring our split end into a tight alignment, which we can do from anywhere from 2 to 3 yards all the way out to about 5 yards where he is here. And the game plan for this week was to crack this will backer. And this would allow the corner to get out, our wing out to the corner. And they do a really nice job here on this one, setting the blocks. And we get a pancake from the guard. This is about as nice as you can drop a wing T jet sweep. We have a great reach by the tackle on number 1. We have a great crack by the split end. And then we're going to have a nice lead from the wing here. He has plenty of room, so he's going to have his choice on whether he's going to kind of reach or kick out. Our guard is going to pull for that safety, that alley defender. And everybody's, you can see their heads are all on the correct side, okay? We're running jet left, their head should be on the left, okay? And this guard that we had was one of the most athletic guards we've had, and he could move in space. For most teams, he'd probably play a running back or fullback, but he was just such a great blocker in space that he started guard for us for 2 years, and he was about 170, 180 pounds. Again, a flex formation here. This time we flex our tight end. Okay. And this was a game, this was a call we made at halftime. Our tackle was having trouble reaching this defensive end. So I said, hey, we'll just down block him with our flex man, and you'll go right up to backer. Well, they double team it here, and we still get a gain because our back bounces outside, draws him out, and then cuts it back. And from the end zone view, I'll be able to show you a little bit better the blocking mistake that we made, but it still allowed the play to be successful. So if a team has a great defensive end, right, we can crack him down. You can run buck sweep at him. This year, in this particular year, we didn't run any buck. So I was going to have him go right to their backer and him get the down block and sending the wing outside. And then our tackle still did reach, but we had a very elusive back that makes a nice play. Here we're in a over formation again. It's a tackle over formation. Okay, that removes the corner out. And in this case, this is one of those situations where we're trying to call the play based off of where the defenders are aligning. So we can run to the grass, but it is pretty equal. We did notice in this case, their free safety was playing down actually to the weak side here. And their best defender, this guy is one of the top players in the country. He's going to Michigan. He's playing on our right. So we're like, hey, let's run the jet to the left. And you'll see our over tackle and our wing both have poor blocks here, but they are in a way just long enough that the guard can protect our wing and get him to the edge. And now these other guys are coming from such distance that they have trouble making the play. So again, we're calling the play away from a certain defender, number 17. We're going to go this way. We take a false step here and do not get a good reach. We also take a false step here and do not get a good reach. But the play is hitting so quickly, and the guard protects it, that it gets outside. Tight alignment again. We're going to be going at the will linebacker here. And I put this one in not because it was a great gain. We actually lost the reach on the end. But I wanted to show you there's a point where the guard needs to realize, and this guard was so fast that he actually was outside of it. So he kind of didn't have a choice at that point. But if he realizes that we're not going to get a reach, like this number 38 was going to rip and run outside no matter what. If we realize we cannot get outside of that, the guard needs to turn in. And we'll take the yards that we can get, because they're going to string it out, and there's going to be nobody here for this free safety, and this corner could come up and make the play. So you want to be consistent with it. But I didn't put this play in there because of that. Obviously, we have great effort and finish by the back. What I want you to see is the end zone view, and this is splitting the defense. Watch the players right now. Watch the hats that are watching the backside of this defense, or of our fakes, excuse me. Watch the defense watching our QB here and chasing our fullback. Okay, that's splitting the defense, and that's what we're looking for, because that's going to open big sweeps up as the game continues. I put this one in here as well for splitting the defense. Our head coach, he calls up to me on the headphones and says, hey, run that same formation that we've been running our buck on, and run jet. Okay, this is 4th and long, and they're overloading to this side because they know we've been running the jet over there. Okay, so I call the jet, and we should have number 1, and halfback should have number 2, and we should pull for 3. Okay, but in this case, our halfback did not go with the jet. He fakes buck sweep. And in actuality, you will see a split in the defense here that is amazing, because not only do we have the quarterback booting away from the run, we have a buck fake as well. So this maybe this is a new play that I'll have to add to the playbook. But look at the amount of defenders chasing opposite. So let's watch that again. Here we're talking about that divide, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay? And we're going to get through here behind our guard. Great blocking downfield. Great effort. Here's one from our state championship game in 2015, Ford Field. And we're going to try to reach number 1 here. You're going to see the guard, as he's going to pull, he realizes we don't get the reach. So he ends up helping with that. Our wing's going to get out to this safety, okay? And luckily, we've plussed the running back, because he's going to actually be the man that we follow, and we have to pierce through to pick up the yards. And there's going to be kind of that kick out and wall down, and we're going to have to pierce through that little gap to make this play successful. The guard has to help out on that DN and break through. I put this one on here. This is the week before. This is in 9 inches of snow fell during the course of this game. So it's an all-weather offense. It was very tough sledding to begin the game, and our wings were really struggling with footwork because the snow was falling so quickly. But This is after a few series, they start to get their footing. You'll see a very slowed down version of motion, but this is the same exact play as you saw in the championship, where we're going to plus the running back. Okay. This time it's to the strong side, but he's going to be able to follow right behind that running back. He becomes the guard that he's going to follow. And they get to the edge, make a couple snow angels. Again, here's one of our favorite formations, that tight look. And I put this one on here not for the crack of the split end, but because you'll be able to see, especially from the end zone copy, that our tackle and wing have very tight blocks. Their reach is basically man on. So they're just going to take a little lateral step and get directly into them and start to drive the player and reach. They don't have to take a flat step down the line of scrimmage to get this reach. This is an odd front team. It makes it the blocks a little bit different for these two guys. Our split end in this case is not going to crack to a inside backer. He's going to go right to that corner. And the guard then is going to come running up on the safety. He knows with that tight alignment, when he hears the 1 and 2 being right, number 1 and 2 are on the line, he knows he's going to have a player showing out wider. Okay. And he's going to have that kick out of that defender. The end zone copy, you'll be able to see the footwork here. Again, we got number 1, number 2, okay? And it's just going to be a 6-inch lateral step by these two. The guard knows that number 2 is on the line, so he's going to have a man wider. Put this one in just to show a shift we do. So we line up a formation where we have extra backs to the boundary, and then we're going to flip that around pre-snap. And so we have an unbalanced formation here now. And we're going to run the jet to that unbalance. We have the fullback just up on the line in a wing position to get that done. And you can do various things with your split end here. If they're going to play man coverage, you can run them off. You can crack them. If this player is going to be, he's going to kind of sit. If he's a cover 2 type of player, you may want to try to release inside and crack and send one of these wings or your guard to kick him. Added a couple clips on here of some gun stuff. In 2015 and 2016, we ran quite a bit of shotgun. All the same plays, but we would get to some empty formations, same plays, but getting into some empty and running our jet and pass from the shotgun. And so here we're going to do jet to the right, and we have a trips look here, but it is unbalanced because we're covering up our tight end. But you can see our tight end pulls and our guard. Tight end's uncovered. He knows he has a crack here. So they made a call where they folded. And our guard's going to pull. We have our wing also getting out front. And that slot receiver does a real nice job holding onto his block of this defender so that we can get through there. Again, if that guy becomes a problem, you may send your split end to safety and try to kick him out with somebody else. Here's a trips formation. We got trips right. We got tight end, wing, and slot. We're going to bring the slot through, and he's going to be taking the jet to the left. Okay. And so we have number one. He has to take two. So he's going to get the most dangerous guy here, whichever one shows. It looks like this safety might roll down. It could be the back, or if he starts to move faster. Okay. And then we have a crack on here where he's going to either get back or a safety, and just kind of, we have him read it on the go. Then we can pull that guard out for the corner. The guard doesn't quite get there. And this is one of those situations where we said, if you see green, you can leave the guard. And he sees that I can take this to the edge. And he does a nice job of that. So he's calling him number one. He knows he has the next man, which is going to be, he's going to end up taking 34 because we're going to crack 30. And they do a great job getting to those blocks. And we see grass and get outside quickly. Okay, we're back up to the top. Again, if anybody has questions, if they want to drop me a line, my email is mbrandimarte@armadaschools.org. Or you can hit me up on Twitter, CoachB_50, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. I want to thank Nick again for having me on, and wishing everybody a safe time during this uncertain thing that we're going through here, and hope everyone stays healthy, and hope that we can get to play some football this fall. And I look forward to talking to some of you, and good luck this season. Thank you.